Welcome to the automated future, a place where your refrigerator has more processing power than the Apollo 11 lunar module, and your light bulbs require a firmware update before they'll deign to illuminate your living room. If you've spent the last 3 years upgrading your living space with gadgets that talk to you, you aren't living in the home of tomorrow, you're living in a high-tech depreciating asset trap. Here's the lie. Smart home technology is an investment in your property value and your personal efficiency. The industry markets these devices as the ultimate friction killers, tools that save you time, energy, and money while making your home future-proof. The promise? I'm going to prove to you, using the brutal math of planned obsolescence and subscription creep, that your $4,000 smart home suite is actually a financial anchor. We're going to look at the wealth decay of appliances that are designed to fail the moment a new Wi-Fi standard is released. By the end of this, you'll see that you haven't bought convenience, you've signed up for a lifetime of digital maintenance and hardware rotations. Why is your smart thermostat actually dumber for your bank account than the 1970s dial it replaced? Let's look at the circuitry of your shrinking net worth. The trap is built on a concept called interoperability anxiety. Brands sell you one device, say a smart doorbell, and suddenly your dumb locks and dumb lights feel like relics from the Stone Age. You feel a psychological urge to complete the ecosystem. Marketers know that once you've bought into a platform, the switching cost becomes a massive barrier. You aren't just buying a light bulb, you're choosing a side in a corporate war between Amazon, Google, and Apple. This creates what I call the upgrade treadmill. In the old days, you bought a toaster and it lasted 20 years, or until you tried to retrieve a bagel with a metal fork. Today, your toaster has an operating system, and like every operating system, it will eventually become legacy hardware. The moment the manufacturer decides to stop supporting the cloud server that powers your smart features, your expensive appliance becomes a very heavy, very confusing paperweight. It's like buying a high-end sports car that the manufacturer can remotely disable because they decided to stop making the specific type of key you use. I'm just as vulnerable. I once bought a smart scale that refused to tell me my weight until I accepted a new privacy policy. I was standing there, in my underwear, arguing with a piece of glass about data rights just to find out I shouldn't have eaten that second donut. Let's look at the hidden math of the smart decay. This is where we compare the total cost of ownership over a 10-year cycle. Scenario A is the analog traditionalist. This person buys high-quality, dumb appliances, a top-tier fridge for $2,000, a thermostat for $50, and standard LED bulbs for $100. Total upfront, $2,150. In 10 years, the fridge is still cold, the thermostat still clicks, and they've replaced maybe 5 bulbs. Total maintenance, $50. Total 10-year cost, $2,200. The resale value of the home is unaffected because a fridge is just a fridge. Scenario B is the smart home visionary. You go all in. First, the initial hardware. A smart fridge with a giant touchscreen, $3,500, a mesh Wi-Fi system to support the 40 new devices, $400, smart locks, $250, and a suite of 20 smart bulbs, $600. Total upfront, $4,750. Next, the subscription creep. To actually use the security features of your cameras, you pay a $10 a month cloud storage fee. Over 10 years, that's $1,200. Then the obsolescence factor. By year 5, the fridge's processor is lagging, the apps won't load, the smart bulbs start flickering because the manufacturer went bankrupt and shut down their servers. You have to replace the brains of your home at least once in that decade. Let's conservatively call that $1,500 in mid-cycle upgrades. Finally, the energy vampire. Smart devices are always on, searching for a signal. In 2026, the cumulative phantom load of 40 smart devices adds roughly $15 a month to your utility bill. Over 10 years, that's $1,800. Total 10-year cost, $9,250. You have paid a $7,000 premium for the ability to turn off your lights with your voice, a task that takes approximately 0.5 seconds to do with a finger.
You've spent $7,000 to save maybe 10 hours of manual effort over a decade. Your convenience is costing you $700 an hour. That's more than most corporate lawyers charge. I've been there. I spent 3 hours trying to sync a smart vacuum to my phone just so it could save me 20 minutes of sweeping. I'm a math genius, clearly. Look at a character like Toby. Toby wants his home to look like a sci-fi movie. He installs smart blinds that cost $300 per window. He thinks it adds value to his condo. But when Toby goes to sell his place 3 years later, the buyer's inspector notes that the smart blinds are Gen 1 and don't work with the buyer's Gen 4 home hub. The buyer doesn't see an asset, they see a future repair bill. Toby is experiencing feature depreciation. Unlike a granite countertop, which stays granite forever, a smart feature is a ticking bomb of irrelevance. Toby's $300 blinds are now worth exactly zero to the market. In fact, they might even decrease the value because the buyer has to hire a specialist just to figure out how to open the windows. Toby hasn't improved his home. He's filled it with digital clutter that has the shelf life of a banana. He's essentially decorating his house with 2026's version of the VCR. The reality is that smart is often a synonym for fragile. The more complex a system is, the more points of failure it has. A standard switch has a mean time between failures of about 30 years. A smart switch relies on your router, your internet service provider, a cloud server in Virginia, and a software handshake. If any one of those 4 things hiccups, you are sitting in the dark. The industry sells you the dream of control, but in reality, you are ceding control to the manufacturer. You are renting the functionality of your own home. If they decide to move a feature behind a paywall, which many 2026 appliance brands are already doing, you either pay the ransom or lose the utility. The actionable alternative is the mechanical first rule. If a device's primary job is mechanical, heating, cooling, washing, or locking, buy the best mechanical version you can find. If you want smart features, add them via external, cheap, and replaceable modules like a $20 smart plug. Never embed the intelligence into the appliance itself. Stop buying all-in-one solutions that bake a tablet into a dishwasher. When the tablet dies, and it will, you'll be left with a perfectly functional dishwasher that refuses to start because of System Error 404. Treat your home like a sanctuary, not a data center. The most convenient home is the one where you don't have to call tech support to go to the bathroom. In summary, smart home tech is a high-speed depreciation engine that turns your home equity into electronic waste. Stop letting tech companies convince you that your inability to flip a switch is a problem that requires a $5,000 solution.